Thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Jessica Myers, the Dealmaker.
And it's Errol, I'm the new kid.
So, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How about yourself?
Oh, I stay living the dream. But you know why I stay living the dream?
Why?
Because I'm constantly working on things that I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. And everything ain't real estate that I'm passionate about. Because, you know, it's so crazy because it's like real estate is just a form of which you get to see my passion. But we involved in other things. Like, what about you? Like, how you feeling?
So, you know, contrary to popular belief, I'm not passionate about real estate either. Even though I'm known for being the house guy and I do a lot of house-related things, I'm actually more enthused about business.
So what all you got going on? So we know about the Airbnb. We know about the real estate. Mm-hmm. What other ventures do you have going on? Speaking of passion, what are the other ventures that you have going on?
So I would say I got a coaching group, consulting in that space as well. I also have a luxury car rental operation as well.
Wait, so go back to the coaching group. What do you coach people through?
So I coach people when it comes to doing and building scalable Airbnb portfolios. Okay. So I help people whether you're having one Airbnb, no Airbnbs, 5 Airbnbs, looking to systemize it. I have a coaching group and program around that. And as well as other facets of real estate as well, but I'm getting more known for doing that because I've helped more people in that space as of recent.
Okay. What other passion projects you do?
But yeah, so aside that, I'm actually looking to get into getting a laundromat. So I've been surveying the field and talking
well, you got the baskets.
Oh, you do? Thank you.
You got the baskets, so you're ready. You want to step there.
So yeah, I've been surveying that as well, but got my car rental business as well, so I'll have cars that go out obviously for short-term rental, mid-term rental, what have you. And yeah, and obviously all my real estate endeavors as well. That's pretty much it. I try to stay focused and make sure that everything I do either supplements what I already have going on or isn't too much of a deterrent from what I already have. I want to keep the main thing the main thing. And
the main thing being the real estate, but it's like the other things, they supplement what you do, so it's like you don't have to worry about time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Whew. Okay, so I've realized to call myself a producer.
Okay.
Because when I think about all the things that I produce, it's a lot. Like I have a book called Real Estate Mastery, a show on Hope TV Network called Real Estate Mastery. I have a development company. I am a partner in a hedge fund, so I'm a hedge fund manager. And through that, we're building a resort in Exuma, Bahamas. I also sit on the board of an organization called Favor Friday. I think that's by far one of the most impactful things that I do. And then, to be honest, I call this a passion project, but really it's my way of exercising and practicing and on young minds. So I sign up and do a lot of career days. And it started out just me getting comfortable with public speaking, because that's actually a genuine passion of mine, public speaking and being able to talk to audiences and move them and connect with them in so many different ways. And so I've done this and practiced and gotten used to it, because if you can't talk to a 12-year-old and keep their attention, because they will be going on and doing everything like that. If you can't keep their attention, then what are you even doing? So part of my passion, honestly, is reaching out to helping young minds, but really to practice public speaking. Okay. And I'm in a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And, through service and community, I'm able to give back as well. So between Favor Friday, my sorority, and really doing career days, that's my way of giving back. Like I love, and people be surprised, yes, I do charge a public speaking fee, but people be surprised at how many pro bono conversations that I like to have, just because I enjoy either the audience, the message, or the moment of what it's about. I genuinely enjoy that.
So let's talk about in the past, like growing up, because obviously you do a whole bunch of dope things today. I do some dope things myself, but I'm sure this didn't just show its head now. Yeah. I'm sure there was things that she was doing in your childhood that could kind of, she's thinking differently. She's moving differently. She might not just go the standard, the route that's put out in front of us.
It's what Malcolm Gladwell likes to call an outlier.
Good author. I love his books.
Oh yeah. And he wrote a book called The Outlier, which talked about, one of which how Bill Gates just so happened to grow up in the neighborhood of Hewlett Packard. And just so happened, that my neighbor has a throwaway computer, so you got somebody from birth that has unusual set of circumstances that allowed them to have an advantage in life. And that's ultimately what an outlier is. And one of the things he talks about as an outlier is it's called 10,000 hours of mastery. And what you're speaking of is, what did I practice in my formative years that mastered the skill sets that you see now? Because it's like 10,000 hours. How long is that? That takes a couple years to reach 10,000 hours of doing a task. So the earlier you started, the better off you are to be at 29 with multiple businesses and doing all of these things. To be, 36 with multiple businesses and being into real estate in the way that I have, it's a skill that I've been sharpening since in 3rd grade. I saw that my grandma had all these books, and I had this blue little crate that I loved. And for whatever reason, I was like, how about, we used to go to the library as a child, and we would take the library books, rent them out. And I was like, well, how about I take all these books that my grandma have and rent them out? And I would rent them out for a dime.
So wait. You would go to the library.
No, my grandma books. But from going to the library, I saw how they would take the book and rent it out.
Yeah, so you got that concept, and then you said, my grandma has all these dope books, so I'm just going to rent them out.
For a dime.
And people bring them back. And your grandma did your grandma know this?
Well, I mean, my grandma was older because she was an educator. So she'd amassed so many books, but she had so many books. I mean, I don't think she noticed that I was taking books because she had so many books. I was in the 3rd grade. I was in 3rd grade, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
7, 8?
Yeah. Well, 3rd grade is around 8, 9.
8, okay.
Yeah. So I'm taking this crate to school, and I just have all these books, and I'm renting them out for a dime, and I enjoyed it. And I kept a little log, because I remember seeing the librarian write down the log. So I would keep a little log of who had what book. Now, who returned the books, I can't even remember. But even still, my aunt, she sold Avon, and they would always send you samples at Avon. So I had a drawer full of fingernail polish in the 3rd grade. And I would just take the fingernail polish to school. Girls were like, oh, I like that color. I would charge $1 to paint their nails. And I mean, so it was things like this that I didn't realize until getting older what that attributed to. My parents saw it and was like, something different about her. Because even still, I went through my church school as a young child. And so we would often do fundraisers where it's like selling candy, cookies, or whatever. And so because it was a church school, my clients would be the church. But everybody else's kid is selling at the church. So they used to always have this thing where we're not buying from anybody, because if we buy from one, we got to buy from all. But my dad was always intrigued at how I got a lot of people who said we ain't buying from nobody, but they would find themselves buying from me. And I didn't realize it then, but that was building my 10,000 hours of mastery. Because as much as it's like, oh, great, she's doing hotels and like all of these things, it's like, well, it wouldn't have come if it wouldn't have been for the person who told me no, that they wouldn't buy candy, and I convinced them to buy candy. Or the ingeniousness or the ingenuity that I found in creating something from nothing of my circumstances. Like even when I got in 4th grade, it came glitter. Kids have glitter. You glue on and a card. But then I noticed the holidays, people needed things for their parents. I created something for my parents, and then somebody was like, well, can you create that for me, for my mom? And then, can you create this for me, for my mom? And so I ran out of glitter. But we had crayon box. And so I would take the shavings of the crayon, because then the glitter cost, if I needed to get a gold glitter, if I needed to get a red glitter, and a green glitter. And this is just 4th grade mind me. But I was like, but if I shave a red crayon, and if I shave a green crayon, and if I shave, you put it in a pencil sharpener, and you shave them, you crumble them up, it looks just like glitter, and it gives you more of the color effect. So I literally just started making cards out of crayon shavings and was charging people to sell it to their parents for whatever holiday it was. And this was by the 4th grade.
That is so slick.
So, because, they shun upon you selling candy. So you got to learn, you learn other skills so that I'm just selling a birthday card. It's just their mama birthday. So I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I found a need, and I found a way to service the need by using my current circumstances. I didn't go out and buy books to rent the books out. I didn't go out and buy crayons. I mean, this was school crayons that I was shaving, you know? So I was using the resources around me to do greater and build and monetize and make money. And that's the same skill that I use as an entrepreneur.
And you have to worry about paying back the people you got the resources from.
Yeah, well, that was different. That's what I mean by having a village around you.
So yeah, my story is actually the candy story. I'm sure that most people, well, I won't say most people, but people may have encountered growing up. So me, I was always focused on, at a very young age, you're going to ask my mama, because I swear to everything. When I said, Mom, I want to go to McDonald's, you know what she said back to me?
Where your McDonald's money?
You got your McDonald's money, and I ain't got it at the time. So you know what that told me? I mean, yeah, I'm in school to get education right now, but the world is not responding off of when you bring a result, produce a result, hey, make money or what have you, close a deal, what have you. So at an early age, my mom was doing that and other things around it. I was like, I need to start making some money, like now. So my very first business I started was in the second grade. It was selling candy. So of course my second grade teacher caught me. Bless Miss Hoover's heart. She caught me selling candy and told my mom. And mom was like, "Why are you selling candy at school?" I'm like, "Well, because you told me I need McDonald's money."
Exactly. So like you can't fault a child when you ask that and you just like, "I'm doing what you told me to do." You like, damn, they are.
It's like, you told me to get McDonald's money, so I'm getting McDonald's money, Mom. Okay? I'm sorry. I thought this is what you meant when you told me that. So, obviously, I did that, got shut down, and then I moved on up, obviously, towards middle school. And again, I don't have a car yet, so I'm not able to drive, so that I want things, and, you know, I'm still getting that pushback, like, well, where's the money to get, or where's the McDonald's money? That just, again, made me reinvent the wheel. So now, this time around, when I did in middle school, I realized something different. I realized that there is waters and stuff being sold for $1.50, $1.25, but I can go to Walmart and buy this in bulk, get an 8-pack of it for $3, and then turn around, undercut the school and sell for $1.
Ooh. They didn't get mad at you for that either?
Oh, well, let me tell you.
I'm like, you creating it. See, I just sold. You creating competitive markets and competition.
But see, what I realized was arbitrage. And again, I do it today with my rental arbitrage business and whatnot. But even back then, there was an arbitrage. There was a space where I can come in and go from store A, get this stuff, and then go back to the schools, undercut them, make a margin, and now I have funds to do what I want to do. So I realized there was an arbitrage I could have. So me and my boy, Shalou, we went into business together. We had all but $100 worth of seed money because, you know, from our allowances and cutting yards. That's how we got the seed money, if you want to know. Again, we wasn't just giving money. We was, like, working for it, and then we recycled and reinvest. So, yeah, early on, once we did it for about a month or two's time, we started making good money, up to the point where we had about like $500 a piece.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good money.
We was fast. We was making money. So
yeah.
It got to the point where we had to start hiring runners. Like we had people
not hiring runners in high school. Oh goodness.
We had to hire people to go to because again we was like. At this time, we're freshmen now because we started in like 7th grade, 8th grade, then we brought up into freshman year of high school. We had people that went into the senior halls, the 11th, 12th grade halls, selling for us.
Oh,
we
wow.
We had lockers that had supplies that they can get access to.
Like, this was a whole operation.
We had a big operation. It was so good that the school took notice.
Uh-oh.
You know the school got cameras.
Yeah.
So, of course, obviously, they put their clamps on us and called us up and said, listen, we know what you're doing.
Because y'all had like a whole underground network.
We had an operation. We had 4 runners. We was doing good.
Wow.
So they said, stop what you're doing, slap on the wrist, keep it moving. So obviously, when we had that meeting, I remember like it was yesterday, both me and Shui walked out the office after being told to close up shop. He's like, you want to shut down the business? He said, nah. I'm like, let's keep going. So we kept going. We thought we can get even tighter with how we did it, locations of where we did, so there's no camera footage involved.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like a BMF. I feel like we're watching a BMF story, but continue.
But yeah, it's funny. I haven't even seen that show, ironically. So we got better with our operations, where we did the deals at and all that stuff, and we still got busted a month later. So when we got busted a month later, this time, when we came to principal's office, we thought it was going to be no sit down, talk, slap on the wrist. Nah, both our parents were there. So we're like, oh, this really real. It's really, really real. So, God, the principals explained to our parents what we did, and they over here are listening, absorbing it, and we're like, we are both screwed. He's Indian, I'm African American. They ain't playing this. And on top of that, I'm Caribbean. So, my parents on education, his parents on education, all this other stuff is noise, extracurriculars. Stop it. So, when we get home, obviously, they sit us down in my family room, my dad's family room. I'll never forget it. Well, me and she will stand next to us side by side, and all sit on the couch like we're on trial. And they're like, so, want to explain to us what, what y'all been doing? And I was like, man, Dad, listen. Again, I wanted to have some extra money. And
I need McDonald's money.
I
just try to go to McDonald's. That's all I'm trying to do.
That's why I get some extra money. And of course, obviously, I didn't have time to get a job, and only cutting yards is seasonal. So here's what we came up with. And so my dad's like, okay, cool. And, Shalu's parents asked him the same thing, and he said his answer. And long story short, this is why I knew something was about to happen. They asked us, how much money did you make? So now, what I realized earlier on is you don't put all your eggs in one basket. What do I mean? We had 2 lockers that held our reserves. So we had the school locker that had 5, because at this time we had like $1,000 in capital that we can use. Mm-hmm. We put $500 in the school lockers, and we kept $250 apiece in our individual wallets at any given time. So when my father asked how much we made, I was kind of quick to let Shalu, like, hey, let me answer this. I'm like, we made $500. He's like, okay, cool, let me see it. I'm like, I knew this was coming. Gave him my $250. Shalu gave him his $250. He gave half to Shalu's parents. He kept the other half, and then he gave me back like $50. And I was like, okay. He's like,
good thing y'all only said $500.
So again, having the foresight. Now, there's a whole bunch of lessons that I just said without even saying it yet. But I'm going to backtrack on all of this in a second. So I'm over here just like, so what's happening? What's up with the other 200? Well, you can consider that since you use our fridge to keep all the drinks and stuff you had cool. You use your mom's and ours gas to go back and forth to go to Walmart, Kroger to get the supplies. You can just consider this taxes.
Wow.
So do you think at age 14, when I just got ripped away of a fourth of my cash reserves, I have a good outlook on taxes? In today's world? So, let me backtrack. What I learned early on from my endeavors is, 1, the marketplace is competitive. The school obviously did not like that because if we was doing bad, they wouldn't say nothing. Yeah. They wouldn't care.
They're like,
we was doing exceptional. So,
and taking money out of their pocket.
Exactly. So what they do, they put us out of business. So I learned that the business place / marketplace is competitive. Another thing that I learned is do not have all of your cash reserves sitting in one area. So for me, I don't have my money just sitting in a savings account. I have it in life insurance. I have it in Roth IRAs. I have it in stocks. I have some in crypto. I learned to put my money to work for me, even the sitting money. I learned to put it to work for me and not just have it truly sit. Learned that from this lesson. And the last thing I learned is you gotta watch out for the man Uncle Sam.
That part. Guess they coming for that.
Because he's always going to get.
Yep, remember this.
So I learned, looking back, I learned all of these lessons at mock pace speed.
Yeah.
All because of my little entrepreneurship endeavor that me and my boy Shalu had in middle school that we carried to high school.
Do y'all still talk?
Of course, yeah. Well, so now, he actually bought a house. He lives like an hour up from here. He's getting into the real estate space, ironically, and we're going to do some things in the short-term rental space too.
Oh wow!
But before that, he had a vape store, a very good vape store, and unfortunately, due to regulations and other things, he had to shut it down. But he's now transitioning over into the real estate space.
So it looked like he always been a lawbreaker, a bandit.
We're both rebel rousers in the respective sense of the word.
I know. But one of the things that I didn't speak of, so I too dealt with so I evolved my entrepreneurial. We were knitting keychains by middle school. Like everybody in PE was knitting my keychains. And then come high school though, I started doing it a different way. Because a lot of that stuff required a product and all of that. So by high school, I realized that because I wanted to go get a job. Because here again, both of us seemed like we had needs early on that weren't getting met. And rather than keep banging our head trying to beg money, we went to go create solutions. And that's, if anything, that's the true makings of an entrepreneur. Like, because even right now, if I need to make money, it's like, how can I go create something that generates the money? Not, how can I go get it? Well, I am trying to go get it anyway. But I do try to look at ways that I can create money. And that's ultimately what we did. But in high school, I started using my brain. So for example, like I was very intrigued by STEM, by science, technology. Like by 9th grade, I was doing this thing called Black Data Processing Associates, which every Saturday they would get us in the room and teach us HTML code and all of those things. So by going in my 10th grade year, I was competing in a national competition and we came in 2nd place. And that next year, so it was like, you know, it was some money behind that. We had a trip and all of that. We went to Houston. So the next year I was like, wait, I can think about it. And then we started to get, you know, money. And so I did a water chemistry and microbiology summer camp that they paid me $1,000 to attend. Then, you know, by 11th grade, that's when I started working at Fox because I got an Emma Bowen Foundation, which paid me, and every dollar that we worked for that they would give us in salary, they would match in scholarship. So by 17, I had this up until, you know, I was working at CBS in New York. So literally, I started leveraging my brain power and strategy to make, where before the entrepreneurship was things and objects. But then I went to a place where it was like your brain power and how your thoughts could help to get you access and further along. So I think fusing the two was like, because that's what started me getting strategic. That's how I can get into a room with somebody. And because I'm of the firm belief that any room that you walk into has everything that you need. I don't care if it's a grocery store. You meet the right person that's going to take you to the next level. And I saw that early on. And that's how I'm able to get in the right room, meet somebody. Because even at InvestFest, not too long ago, I ran into the guy that ultimately helped us to get our first, well, all of our hotels. Mike Ely with Nassau Investments. He helped us to get all of our, you know, he's the guy that we partnered with to get all of our hotels. But he was right there in the InvestFest room. How many people knew to, like, he was the person that we met. Now, when we first came to it, we all were new. It was our first time for everything, so we all grouped up together. And we've all since gone on and, you know, done other great things. But who knew that this would have been the guy that if you would have said hi to, he can help you get into hotel ownership. And that's one of the powers that I learned from high school of being strategic and networking and alignment that I've carried out. And even now in business, that's how we're able to get a lot of these things that we're able to make happen.
Impactful. I actually have a similar story like that when I was out in the Dominican Republic and I met my now good friend, but was just a crypto investor. Yeah. Met him.
He was on our previous episode.
Correct. Yep. And now he's got 5 properties in Atlanta. Mind you, it's been 2 years.
Wow.
It's only been 2 years since he's known me. He's got 5 properties in Atlanta. He's got properties in the DR. He's got properties in New Orleans, his hometown, and he is flourishing in the real estate aspect. And still doing good for his crypto investments as well. But like you said, you're just 1 degree of separation away from just knowing that right person that can shift everything around.
Yeah.
We was just talking the other day about that, and it's just ironic how you brought it up again.
Oh, yeah. Because, I mean, relationships is how everything happens. Like, that's why it's so hard, because people ask, like, how do you get involved in real estate? How do you get involved in hotel ownership? And it's so hard because it's relationship based. Like, I mean, did you have somebody you went to college with and your roommates with and they spent 15 years working in the hospitality industry? Now, can I tell you to go do that and go get somebody that you've known for 10 plus years that already has 15 years of experience? I mean, that's hard to replicate that success. So that's why I tell people it's who you be. Versus I can list out all the steps that I did, but I was very fortunate in my community, my village, and it's something I've been working at a very long time, because who I connected with and who I became in college, in high school, of all the activities and all of the things that I've done, you know, that's part of my 10,000 hours of mastery that adds to how I'm able to play the game in strategy and real estate now, versus telling somebody who ain't never done that. You got to find your way. So it's like, now, how do you just take the elements, the mindset that got us in the rooms, the mindset that had you, the thing, a way out of no way, the mindset, that's what you have to transfer. It has to be the mindset, because you had a unique set of skills, a great set of circumstances. So people need to adapt the mindset to replicate your success, and not necessarily what you did, but just understand that their journey is their journey. And how can I adapt that mindset to get these same results?
Don't compare your chapter 21, chapter 1 songs to chapter 21, and don't have stinking thinking.
Oh, yeah. Stinking thinking. That needs to, I'm going to write that down. Stinking thinking. Because that definitely needs to be a shirt.
So, you said something about relationships. Let's talk about your most, and let's just put the outlier out there because we already know, but outside of your husband, what would be some of the most impactful relationships that you've had in your journeys?
Oh, so, I mean, a lot of my business partners. I am huge on partnering with people that I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm huge at partnering with people that, or not that I don't know, but people that have relationships or experiences that I don't. So for example, when I got into real estate, like you said, somebody needs to actively be in the car driving it for you in one of our previous episodes. Well, I didn't have that. So I had to partner with people who had that. So my first partner was Greg. Well, take it all the way back. When we got in wholesaling, you and I partnered. A lot. Remember, we used to go to the apartment and we used to just go in there and call. So that got me in the motion of it. Then when I got into the actual flipping, Greg came along and he actually knew construction development because I was like, they were telling me it would take them a couple more months. They in there selling drugs out of my house. So I'm in here like, thankfully my partner Greg, he was able to come along and he's like, well, I know how to do this. I just don't like the paperwork. I was like, well, I got the paperwork part down. I know the numbers and we learned it in class. So I got that part. You go do that part. And so that's how we partnered. And then we got to a certain point where it was like, okay, we're taking bigger and bigger projects. So it's like I needed to bring in more partners. So I brought in Matt and Pat. And we partnered with, me, Matt, Pat, and Greg. And we all now together. So it was a compound of building and shifting those relationships. And then, we working on development there. And then, that's where my other business partner, she comes along and we're able to get hotels. And then I have another partner that's like, wait, well, you were able to do that. How about we go do some stuff? So, Jack, we were able to partner and do a lot more business together. So it just kept expanding in it. And the partners kept growing. And the village, when I tell you it's like a band of brothers, despite, we have our differences. We go up, down, and everything in between. But it really helped having my band of brothers, people that look out for my back, and make sure that we get in the business together. So those are the huge things. Who were some of the influences, for you?
I was looking back on, I noticed that most of my most impactful relationships, a similar trait that all of them have is that they're all master networkers. It's like the people who are most impactful for my life and my business right now are like the ones that are going, hey, who are you? What do you do? Hey, who are you? What do you do? Like the ones that are openly networking. Like me, I'm more of a recluse. I'm not the most outgoing person, but I am very intentional when I do network. So when I do say, I'm going to step out of being silent E and I'm going to go into moving E, I am very intentional about who I talk to and what I'm looking to achieve in that regards. But so I would say for me personally, my tax attorney was a huge plug. My business coach is a huge plug. Even like my ex-real estate mentor and just current business partners as well. They have all helped and shaped and propelled me to being the person I am, how I move, how I think, ideas I have in situations, how I handle people. I've learned from just being in, like you said, a village.
Oh, that's the interesting part. And I mean, we ran out of episodes today. Time today to discuss that. But when you have to fire a mentor, that's actually pretty interesting.
That's a big conversation.
I think we'll save that for another conversation.
Yeah.
But what have been some things that really stood out that you feel like you grasped from this conversation?
Let's see. Well, I mean, every time I talk and hear you, obviously, I'm learning more about just things that even I could do better. So I would say from what I've heard so far today, your ingenuity and creativity, I would say that's just always finding a way out of no way. That would be something that I've pulled from today. And I think that many other people who are listening can find out, hey, again, you did it with crayon shavings. Like, if you give me lemons, I might just give you back some lemons at an earlier point in my life. You, at a young age, were given lemons and made not just lemonade. You was making sugar, honey, like, you was just making stuff.
Yeah.
You was just making things happen. I'm just like, I don't have that creativity like that in that regards. I'm blessed with like numbers, metrics, and understand that. But the left side of the brain, creativity, I just don't have that aptitude. But
one of the things that you talked about, though, is the proximity to power. And that same conversation of getting in the right rooms and having those mastermind alliances. Because that's where you're really going to get to your next level, your next connection, and your next bright idea. Like really and you thought through too. You're creative when because the school caught you on camera, and you like, well, let's just do it another way. And that to me is a boldness that no matter what anybody has about my dream, I'm so determined to make it happen that it doesn't matter how, and I'm by any means necessary. And that's very important, especially being an entrepreneur. Those are key takeaways that you want to have. So, thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Things Entrepreneur. It has been amazing. If you liked anything that you heard today, be sure to subscribe and find out more episodes to our channel, All Things Entrepreneur. You know you got it. Let's get it. Let's go.